Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of Migtown Podcast. As always, I am producer Tim, and with me is Drexel. Drexel, how you doing today?
You know what, Tim? I'm doing good, man. Brother, I'm ready to go, man. You know how I feel tonight.
Yes.
We've been talking about these 12 days of THOTMAS. It's been great, man. And you know what? Let me just go ahead and say, you said that I think the last video, like 4,000 views. I appreciate everybody, man. Like I said, if you guys are out there, I know that gyms are closed down a lot of places, and sometimes you guys may just need something to go on in the background while you're cleaning your shop, you're building a model car. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're doing, yeah, I appreciate the views. I appreciate the support, and all of it. I love interacting with you guys, and especially with Tampa. I'll get more on that when I go tomorrow on Nick's show. I'll be back on RekietaLaw, Rekieta Media, for the rest of the week, and also doing shows on my own channel here. And yeah, I really appreciate all the support from everybody, man. It's very humbling. Appreciate it.
Our 12th day of THOTMAS is currently sitting at 1,042 views on YouTube.
Oh, damn.
So, and we only put that out yesterday, right? Pretty late in the day yesterday.
Goddamn.
Oh, they love it. The response from the 12th day of THOTMAS was great. Everyone loves it. Nice little short pickup, right? And it doesn't cost you anything, and it doesn't cost us anything. We just love doing this stuff for the fans because, like, the first 2 episodes have a combined viewership of 8,300 views.
Oh, wow. That is nice.
And that is not counting our downloads on Spotify, iTunes. I think those will add in an extra 180 combined downloads. Thank you guys so much for making this a success. Yeah, I know sometimes we go on a little long being thankful and appreciative, but, my philosophy is never pass up a chance to thank the fans because they are what makes us, right?
Absolutely. And and I'm going to get to that when I go on Nick's show tomorrow, which is, I never personally understood the like the arrogant star kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a couple times when I was out there in Tampa where some people were kind of like unsure if they could just come up and say hi to me or take a picture. I'm like, dude, I'm a regular guy. If I were the most famous guy in the world tomorrow, it wouldn't change. I would take a picture with it. If someone said, "Hey, man, can I get a picture with you?" Sure. You know what I'm saying? I'm just that dude, man. I don't know. I never did the big head shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't my style.
And I come from
Appreciating
humble
people
upbringings.
matters. Yeah, I did too. Just that like that. I always kept my humility. Just being appreciative of people because like when like you said, I truly do it for the fans. Because there was a point where I was unsure if I really wanted to do a YouTube channel because I mean, I've gotten blowback, right? You hear people saying this, that, and the other, and I kind of see the greater culture, and I'm kind of like, I mean, what's the point, right? I mean, maybe I get doxxed and I lose everything, and what was the point? But then, like, you start hearing these stories about, hey, man, there's people out there who really do need to hear the message, and sometimes it's for entertainment, sometimes it's for it's educational, for knowledge and wisdom. It could be for whatever reason, right? But it's like at least it's being appreciated, and I do appreciate that.
Yes, and for those who are sending advice questions by email, yes, we do see them. I make sure we see them. I can't always respond to every single one. I've got a full inbox in already. We do see the emails that come in. If you want to say hi to Drex, or if you just want to invite him onto your show, absolutely get in touch. I pass them on.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, remain accessible always.
Always.
To both women and to men, right?
Yeah, man. You always gotta be accessible, man. You gotta just be like, hey, if you want to say something to me, just go ahead and say what's up.
And if you're having a hard time meeting women, or if you're women who are having a hard time meeting guys, accessibility is the key. You're not going to meet anyone sitting at home. You're not going to, well, the lockdowns are not helping very much, but you can still get out there and do stuff. Man, you could meet someone just by taking a jog down a local pathway.
You could.
How hard is that to do?
Yeah. It's what used to be, but before there was internet, before there was cell phone, before there was any of this. And shout out to my man, Coach Greg Adams, but he did a great live stream about the way dating used to be and how dating has disintegrated now that we're in the 2020s. He went all the way back. He went 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and he said like this is how far it's disintegrated. So he talked about it. It used to just be you met people in your regular life, man. It was great.
And speaking of Coach Greg Adams, I know his name's come up quite a few times in comments. We've got to find a way to get used to together to do a show.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a small timer right now, but yeah, when that day comes, uh, yeah, I know he does, like, he did like the 21 convention. I mean, he actually he blew up quick. He and Joker, a better bachelor, like Donovan Sharp. There's some guys out there who they built their channel up pretty quick just because, like I said, usually guys who have bigger channels tend to get with guys who have bigger channels, Aaron Clary, Terrence Pop, guys like that. Like, but I mean, it's always a feeler, right? You put it out there, you're like, hey man, I'm a big fan of yours. If you'd like to have me on, sure, whatever. But I mean, I'm always available, man.
So he's got 131,000 subscribers on YouTube. He put a video up 13 hours ago that's got 11,000 views.
Yep.
I mean, if we stay humble, stay true to the fans, I have no doubt we can see those kind of heights too.
Yeah, I would hope so. As many people get the message is great for me. It's great for them. It's great for everybody.
So let's get into today's topic because this episode is titled Drexel versus Cucksmas. Now, we've been doing the THOTMAS stories, but now it's time to look at the other side of the equation because Christmas, December, it is the season for cucks and simps.
Absolutely, along with Valentine's Day.
Along with Valentine's Day, but I think Valentine's Day also has more red pilling now than at any time before.
It does. I will agree with that because spending has gone down dramatically, but there's still too much.
But they swallow the blue pill when Christmas comes around. How many people are buying presents for kids of a girl they're not even with?
Oh, that is sad, bro. That almost breaks my heart, man. It really does. It's just like, but they're too far gone. They're lost in the sauce. Just way too far gone.
No one is hopeless. I truly believe that. I think anyone can be saved. I could look, if I got my hands on Prince Harry and I brought him out for a night in Tampa with Dick and Ralph and Ryan Long, we could convert him slowly but surely. Put him in Tampa for road rage, and he'd open his eyes to a world that he's never known before. Wouldn't happen all in one night, but I think you'd make a dent in the armor. You'd make him start thinking, "Oh, wait a second, did I take the blue pill here?"
Maybe, but damn, man, when you sell your prize gun collection, that to me was like really the last straw with Harry. It's selling the prize. I mean, that's priceless, man. You come on, that dude. But he deserves it. He deserves whatever he gets, and that's why it leads to what we're going with some of the things I'm going to talk about tonight. Because I wanted to start with Cyberpunk, and I'll tell you guys how this is simping gone wrong. On Nick's channel, I had said repeatedly, I had warned you guys to lower your expectations for Cyberpunk 2077. And the reason is I've been a gamer since I was a kid. Hell, I went to nationals for Tekken Tag back in the day, and I'm a gamer. Like I don't get to game as hardcore as I used to be able to because my time is more limited. But I always loved games. I always loved playing games. And one of the things you learn about games is development cycles and how they work and the red flags you see during development. And this is actually very similar to red flags that we see in intergender relationships, right? So I want you to think about this for a second, Tim. In a sense, guys kind of got catfished by CD Projekt Red, right? They showed you a little bit, showed you some more footage. You thought you were going to get a bomb product, right? Oh, this is going to be that WAP.
Oh, yeah, that's an 8.5 out of 10 blonde. You show up, and the only thing 8.5 out of 10 is the amount of the buffet she ate.
Absolutely. Right? And no, think about it. Had you done your due diligence and lowered your thirst, lowered your expectation, hold up, let me make sure I don't get too thirsty because I'm gonna ignore the flags. And we've all done it. I've done it too. So I'm no different. Every guy in their past has done some things where they said, this is a thirsty Thursday, and maybe you skipped out on a couple of red flags, right? And the reason why I wanted to tell you guys this is I'll tell you guys what the ultimate bait and switch is. And Coach Greg Adams talks a lot about the bait and switch. The ultimate bait and switch as a consumer in the video game space in particular is the pre-order. There is no other real media because remember, if you pre-order a book, the book could suck, right? It could, but more than likely, remember, the book is a finished product, right? You can't get a book that has bugs in it. The book has already been written. You see what I'm saying?
You can get a book with typos. I've seen it before, but you also typically you're buying from an author that you know.
That right? Ooh, this is the new Stephen King book. Okay, is the newest one his best one? No, but you go, it was worth the money. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but you still were like, Stephen King's worst is better than a lot of bad authors' best. And the reason why I brought this up is because you think about it like this, and I want you guys to get this point. I want to get this point across as it correlates to Cyberpunk and the way that they cucked everybody who bought the lie. They believed the lie. They took the blue pill. Listen to this lesson, ladies and gentlemen. Always wait until she produces something and never commit, and keep the relationship transactional. So, Drex, what does that mean? So the pre-order. No pre-orders. Stop the pre-order. Just don't do it. So then when the product comes out, you get those day one reviews. Maybe a couple people buy it. You get a day one, and just wait and see. Wait for somebody to stream it. So when you see a broken, buggy, bullshit game, you wait until they produce something. And you let these companies know, whether it's CD Projekt Red, whoever it is, Bethesda, EA, doesn't matter who it is. It could be an indie studio, right? It could be whoever. And the reason why this is important is this. When you keep this relationship transactional, this is what ends up happening. The pressure is on them to perform. So the pressure would be on women to perform if guys weren't simping. The pressure would be on CD Projekt Red to go ahead and know that, hey, man, if we put out a bad product, look, Naughty Dog, right? And think about Naughty Dog, right? What if people said in the early stages of development, if you pull any SJW shit, will not buy your game. And now that became like the new standard in the industry. Go ahead and try it. Do some shit that where you try to, we're trying to subvert expectations, and then let your game just sit on the shelf. Like I said, these games shouldn't even be million sellers. They should literally be rotting on the shelves. I didn't buy The Last of Us 2, and I will not buy Last of Us 2. I won't support anything that's SJW related. And so CD Projekt, and also I won't support anything that you give me a broken game. Looking at you, No Man's Sky. So that's very similar to women.
That's a deep swipe there.
Because think about it, didn't it deserve it? No, hold on.
Yeah, absolutely, it deserved it.
What did? Okay, be honest, Tim. What did No Man's Sky promise prior to release? What did it promise?
Oh, one of the biggest worlds, the biggest game world.
And what did it deliver day one?
An asteroid. One asteroid that you can hang out on.
Yep, nothing. So, but here's the thing: did they get your money? Like you said, to pay the full amount, right?
Oh yeah.
So you got 1/10 of what you expected. Oh, day one, you didn't pay 1/10. You paid 10/10. You paid the fucking whole. So therein lies that lesson, you guys. You understand? Therein lies the lesson. So it's very similar to the dating market. When you lower those expectations in your consuming, in your consumerism, you start to realize the power that you have by saying no, by rejecting the fuckery. And the reason why that I want to talk about lowered expectations, that's going to lead to my next story. I'm going to read you guys a story. This is actually a month old, but it's very important so that you guys can understand. And this is from TMZ. It's on all stations because he made these comments. For those of you guys who are not basketball fans, it still doesn't matter because the quotes make a lot of sense for all men out there. This is LaVar Ball, who has 3 sons who are, NBA bound guys, right? And this is the story from November 17th this year. It says LaVar Ball warns sons about quote unquote hoes. You'll never meet a good woman during your NBA career. And let me read this story so that you guys can understand what I'm talking about, where he's coming from, because I believe the exact same thing as LaVar Ball. And once again, strong fathers, you know what the strong father in the house does, because they teach their sons not to be simps. So I want you guys to listen to this story that I'm about to read to you, and just listen to the amount of red pills, because their dad used to play ball. I don't think he didn't play professionally, but he did play at the college level, right? And he knows his shit. Here it goes. You're never going to meet a nice woman, especially in basketball, quote unquote. That's LaVar Ball's fatherly advice to his NBA sons, explaining why they're only going to meet, quote unquote, hoes while living the jet setting life as pro basketball players. He quotes, "You're not going to find nobody like I found your mom," LaVar explained to the Endless Hustle podcast while talking about the advice he's given to his sons, Lonzo, Leangelo, and LaMelo. And he says, and I quote, "If you're in this profession, you got all this fame and notoriety. How are you going to meet a good girl? You're not." LaVar says the only places NBA players meet women during their busy careers are at restaurants, clubs, or in the arenas. So I hate to tell you, but you're not going, but you're going to meet a hoe. Just how it goes, son. So, son, that's the bad part of the life you're going to get. You're never going to meet a good woman. LaVar also warned that by the time his kids understand what he's talking about, it'll almost be too late. Because if they meet a woman who's 30 and single, he quotes, "You got to wonder why she's by herself at 30, quote unquote." Then he says, "So there's something that's dangerous, no matter how good they look. But have a good time, son. I feel bad for you. But hey, I love the fact you made it." LaVar says his boys will never be able to meet a woman at a typical job or at church because the demands of the NBA are too time consuming. Plus, the constant travel also makes things tough. He says, "How are you going to meet somebody and be solid? It's not going to happen. Sorry, you have to retire." This is something that Derek Jeter kind of did, if you guys are baseball fans out there, where he just, passed around models during his career, maybe gave him the herp, allegedly. And he waited till after his career to get married. I believe he's now married. And I keep telling you guys, like, there's basically no good ones left. And that's the reason why I say these kinds of things. And this is how it is, man. So for you guys out there who still think that, oh no, there's still some good ones. No, basically none. And this will lead into my next story. We're going to stay on sports to close out the show. Two more stories. One is going to be something that I want Tim to offer his input on. The Cleveland Indians and their name change.
Oh,
We got to talk about this because this is some straight up bullshit. Because doesn't this go into Cucksmas? This is cucking.
Does it ever?
This is cucking, right? How is someone?
This is hard cucking.
How is someone who's not Native American, who's not part of your community, telling everyone, "We need to change this"? And let me ask you, Tim, who is it that's the loudest, the most vocal about changing the name?
White women.
Conservative women or liberal?
Oh, is there a difference?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter anymore. Doesn't really matter.
No, white women are the ones that drive this. And, I mean, it's white people in general, right? White women and their white simps.
White simp army. Yeah, I want to give the floor to you for a second. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, what is your take as a man who has native blood in him?
Well, and first of all, I need to clarify that the native blood is a significant percentage higher than Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, Jesus, that broad.
Yeah. I can't believe she ever thought getting a DNA test and then announcing to everyone 1/1000th Native American justified anything she had said before that. Like, if that were me, I would have dropped the whole thing and just gone completely silent about it and just prayed that everyone forgot about it.
Yep.
Because it was a lose-lose, right? She'd already backed herself into the corner.
But when you have no principles, that's what you do.
And I think this is what a lot of people don't understand about racial minorities in general, but more so Native Americans. Because Native Americans are very tribalistic. Native Americans from the East Coast don't really identify a lot with Native Americans from the West Coast or the Midwest or the Deep South or up in Canada. They identify most with their local home tribe. But anyways, my point of view of changing a team because it is offensive, it makes sense when the person who named the team gets outed as a pedophile. That's when you change the name of a team.
Yep.
All right? That's it. The same thing with the Washington Redskins. Schneider was it his name? Dan Schneider.
Yep.
So I
That's it.
feel sympathy for him who was backed into a corner. But this one, the Cleveland Indians,
Yep.
go ahead, change the mascot. Mascots change all the time. It's not a big deal.
Correct.
Or have a Native American revisualize Chief Wahoo as less of a white person stereotype and more as a tribute to that culture. Because there are a lot of great Native chiefs throughout history that you can honor properly with a team and not have to give in to this SJW culture that seems to invade everything. There's nothing sacred anymore. They would cancel Jesus Christ.
They would. I've already heard there's rumors about, from what I've heard, something about Jesus Christ's sexuality. I don't know what they're referring to, but I mean, I honestly, I don't even care because it doesn't matter. They're going to ruin everything. That's what they do,
Yeah.
right? They find ways to be offended. That's who these people are.
What I want to ask you about Black Santa.
I have no problem with Black Santa.
I think the idea that Santa is white or black or anything is a fundamental misunderstanding of what Christmas even means to people.
Yeah.
Like, why has it got to be about this color of Santa's skin? Look, Santa's skin is red, all right? He's got rosy cheeks because he lives at the North Pole. It's minus 195 with the wind chill,
Right.
all right?
Now, at the same time, here's the thing. If someone is going out and about, and look, I'll give you an example. Let's say I celebrate Christmas, but I live in Mumbai, right? I'm sure it's going to be a little harder for them to find a white Santa Claus, right? So if they have a brown Santa, who cares, right? Who cares?
Yeah.
Santa, do you know what it represents to me? It represents an idea, right? That's really what it's really all about. Because it's kind of like with certain people, it's more about the idea necessarily than like a skin color or this or that. It's the idea. If a person is a certain thing, they're a certain icon, they're a legend. That's really what it boils down to. They're a legend, right? They're mythological. Then that's what it is. Like I don't care. Look, if all legends of Santa were Black Santa, and then I was a kid and I saw a white Santa or a Latino Santa, I don't care. Kids love, you know this. Kids love to sit on Santa's lap and talk to Santa, right? And if they do see a big Black Santa, they'll be like this. Hey, you look different than the Santa I'm used to. Oh, Santa comes in all kinds of colors, and that's still me. Kids don't care. They'll still go do what? They'll still ask for their presents, won't they? You know how kids are. You can explain anything away to a kid. Oh yeah, sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's all good. And yeah, so anyone who went and followed into this, they went full cuck. They went full Cuckmas, changing your name and changing your identity. So once you do that, and this goes back to Prince Harry, because I love to harp on Prince Harry. Once you start to allow someone to dictate what your identity, your personal identity is, they're just going to keep going, right? You know this, Tim, don't you, Tim? When you give them an inch, what are they going to do next?
Take a mile.
Yep, and then 2 miles, right? Oh, it's not enough that you just changed the name. Now you got to change this. Now you got to change the jersey. Now you got to change how much money you're paying the female cheerleaders. They're just going to keep going. It's never going to end.
Oh, they've tried to cancel female cheerleaders now,
Yep.
and they let these big fat men become cheerleaders now.
That's right.
You know what? Someone tap in Nick Rekieta. Let him go cheerlead, and there's a few people who would start paying attention to the NFL again.
Yeah, it's funny as we're talking, I look down at there's a little tag in my my Google that said how Cyberpunk 2077 sold a promise ... and rigged the system. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, stop cucking. Stop cucking to these companies. Stop cucking to your girlfriend or your wife. Stop cucking to if you just hold firm and go, no, you're gonna put tangibles on the table, right? Tangibles. You're gonna see a different result. And that leads into my last story for tonight before we get into some of the things that you fans want to talk about. The last story to really to ring in Cucksmas from the New York Post. So the article reads, Sarah Fuller will likely end her college football kicking career in perfect standing. After becoming the first woman to play and score in a Power 5 conference football game, Fuller was robbed of another chance to kick Saturday as Vanderbilt's season finale against Georgia was canceled because of COVID-19 protocols. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick aside real quick. The real reason, as we know, is that X amount of the Vanderbilt players quit. But I
Yeah.
digress.
Also misogyny, right? Like the obviously misogyny.
Institutionalized misogyny, right? The article goes on. Fuller, a goalie for the Vanderbilt women's soccer team, made her debut with a kickoff against Missouri on November 28th and then went 2 for 2 in extra points last Saturday against Tennessee. It looks like my time as a football player has come to an end, Fuller said Monday in a statement posted to her Twitter account. I would like to thank personally the entire Vanderbilt football team, coaches, and support staff for this amazing opportunity to be a part of this program.
Oh, you want
I
to know
was
who the support staff of her is? The entire rest of the football team.
Yeah, the Simps, because she got to get on that team for virtue signaling, right? She didn't earn anything.
If you're the third string kicker on that team, you're sitting there thinking, what the hell am I, chopped liver? I once
Right.
sneezed and dropped the football longer than she kicked it.
That is true. And also, if you guys would like to find the video, it's going to be a little hard to find. But on the extra point in question, the other team didn't even try to attempt to block it. They literally just stand there. They just stood there and let her kick the extra point, basically, which does not happen if you guys have ever watched football. They're always trying to block, always trying to get that competitive edge. She goes on. I was accepted as an athlete and a true member of this team. This is an experience that I will never forget and will cherish forever. Good luck to the seniors and staff who are moving on to new adventures. Best wishes to the team as this program moves forward and continues to grow. End quote. Fuller is expected to play soccer for the Commodores this spring, with the NCAA tournament pushed back because of the pandemic, and then will transfer to North Texas to play the final 2 years of her college career, according to Yahoo Sports. Fuller told the website she has no plans to play football again at North Texas, but if the Mean Green needed her, as Vanderbilt did this fall due to COVID-19 issues, she would answer the call. And then it ends with her quote saying, "We've watched with admiration and great respect how Sara has handled herself in making history at Vanderbilt," North Texas Athletic Director Ren Baker told Yahoo Sports. Yes, this is a dude who said this. "We look forward to welcoming her to the Mean Green family and helping her extend her platform. I know she's a role model for lots of people in this country, particularly young female athletes." You see, once again, Cucksmas. And there's a video on the New York Post that says, this is CBS Sports HQ. It says Sara Fuller's PAT, right? Point after touchdown, is good. This is all caps with hands raised in like the salute emoji. Are you serious? So yeah, you know what? Sara Fuller, you ain't shit. All the cucks who enabled you, everyone at Vanderbilt who enabled Sara Fuller to make a mockery of the sport and the team and the conference and basically the competitive nature of sport itself. Yeah, fuck you, fuck your mom, fuck everybody in your life and fuck you again. Because you know what? You ain't shit. Anyone who endorses this kind of fuckery, what are you doing? You're just a simp. And you get another star sticker for another day of Cucksmas.
Is there no bigger simp than the administrator of a college?
None. Absolutely none.
Drexel, you brought in a article dealing with the PornHub deplatforming. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a couple articles. One of them here is from, it must be TechCrunch, TC, from Brian Heater. And so here's the thing. Do you know how sometimes in life someone looks at an issue, right? And they go, well, that doesn't affect me, or oh, who cares about those people? You hear that a lot, right? Like throughout history, people are, well, that doesn't affect me. And they don't see the bigger picture, right? Like you remember there's always that saying, eventually they'll come for you. Remember that old adage?
Mm-hmm.
And it is important because a lot of times people have that viewpoint, like, well, I mean, who cares about that? Who cares about Pornhub? Not seeing the big picture. And so this is not just because I'm an avid lover of porn. Porn is great. Obviously, legal porn where you're using people who are obviously the legal age. We're not talking about all that pedo creepy stuff. I don't endorse that in any way, shape, or form. But as I look at this article, because they always use that as a smoke screen, right? Think of the children. They use it
Right.
as a smoke screen.
Oh, yeah,
And you
absolutely.
can see what they're really trying to do. So I'm looking at this article here, and it says adult video giant Pornhub this week announced that it has taken the unprecedented step of removing millions of user uploaded videos. The move which the Canadian-born site calls the most Canadian-born? Huh. I didn't know Pornhub came from Canada.
Yeah, see, we share so much with you
Holy
guys, and
shit!
we get no respect for it. All
You know
right?
what? Just when I was about to give Canada some respect, you guys remove all the good porn. So now you guys we're going to knock you back down the totem pole.
No. Yeah, get into it, but we really didn't have a
Unbelievable.
choice.
A Canadian-born site calls the most comprehensive safeguards in user-generated platform history. Arrives in the wake of a New York Times opinion piece that stated the site is infested with rape videos. Wait, let me just stop right there. If you guys can put in the comments if you have ever come across something like this, please tell me, because I have not seen this once. Obviously, the New York Times, we know who's really behind them. They did a hit piece. I never read this opinion piece, which is basically just a hit piece. Here's what I'm willing to bet. Some cuck and feminists, which are basically one and the same, probably view rough sex, which is consensual, I can't stress that enough, as rape videos, right?
Yeah.
Because you post rape videos on the internet, bro, you're done. Go ahead and try it. Try to upload something. They can find you. Don't think that the feds can't find you. If you're uploading videos of actual sexual assault, yeah, the government's going to find you. Don't think for a second you're going to somehow get away with that. So shout out to my man Austria Dick. If you guys haven't seen his channel, I think it just shows up as like AD. But he makes great reaction videos and content and commentary where there was a chick named Felicity Feline, right? And she was on facial abuse. She did facial abuse scenes and stuff, right? Hardcore stuff. And then, of course, she's one of these classic, my life after porn actresses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all know how this works. It was all fun and games. Name a porn star, right? Insert name here. Brie Olson. Who's the one? There's one of them that's living in a tunnel. I can't make this up. She's living in the tunnels under Las Vegas. I think her name is Shannon Lee, if I recall. Right. So what happens is that it's all okay while they're doing it. They love the dick. They love the cum shots. They love the attention. They love the money. Everything is cool, right? And then when something goes wrong, i.e., they run out of money or out and hit the wall, or their family, friends, or romantic interest finds out about their thought past, then what does it become, Tim?
It becomes anything that can be used as a smokescreen. Rape,
Yep.
drugs,
Yep.
Drunk.
Yeah. I was under the
Or I
influence.
was forced to because the
Yep.
patriarchy wouldn't support me.
Yep. I was coerced into this. Oh yeah, these guys made me do it. They made me. They held a gun to my head and made me sign a contract. Even though I'm in the scene playing the drums. Yes, this Felicity Feline chick on facial abuse was literally playing the drums before they fucking skull fucked her, right? Yet you claim that you were somehow forced into this. Sure, if you say so. So going back to the article here, it says Pornhub announced last week that it would be limiting uploads to only verified users. Now, as noted by Motherboard, the service has suspended all videos for the site not uploaded by existing partners or members of its model program. Suspended content will be subject to review by Pornhub early next year. The service noted in a statement that the new model is arguably the strictest instituted by a content platform. And then here's the quote. This means every piece of Pornhub content is from verified users, it writes, a requirement that platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, and Twitter have yet to institute. Let's just do a quick pause right there. What can you find on these other sites? Last I checked, and I don't know if you know this, but last I checked, you could find cartel beheading videos on YouTube, right?
Oh, yeah.
What can't you find? Okay, between all those media platforms, right? TikTok and was it Snapchat, all this other stuff, right?
No,
Facebook.
in fact, you can find everything on them. These social media companies have teams dedicated to finding the worst of the worst and getting it off the platform, but that means it was on there. It was accessible for a moment.
Yeah. So don't you guys find it a little suspicious that they're going after Pornhub, but not any of these other social media giants, right? There's a
Yeah.
reason for that. There's a reason. And as I look at this article, we're going to get to the big issue here, the thing that we really need to get to, which is the Times offered reports, some firsthand, of graphic exploitation. Now, that's the word I'm getting sick of. Is exploitation. If you agree to something, you weren't exploited, right? You can't say
Right.
I agree to the terms and conditions, and then once you do it, well, I was exploited. No, you weren't. You knew what to expect. These websites give you have full access to see what kind of content they're doing. So if I were an 18-year-old thought and I wanted to do facial abuse, and I was like, well, what are your sites about? They're going to show you scenes, right? And go, this is what we do. And if you see what they do on facial abuse and ghetto gaggers, and then you decide, hey, I'm going to sign on the dotted line, don't come back later saying it was exploitation. That's what you wanted to do for the price that they gave you, right? For the money they paid you.
Right.
And it says right here, I don't see why search engines, banks, or credit card companies should bolster a company that monetizes sexual assaults on children or unconscious women. They always talk about the women and children. This is what these are always the same old emotional arguments, right? And this is Nicholas Kristoff, another cuck. If PayPal can suspend cooperation with Pornhub, so can American Express, MasterCard, and Visa. I've talked about this on Nick's channel on RekietaLaw about the real cancel culture. This is the real like for those of you guys who are out there and you've seen the show Black Mirror, you guys know full well what I'm talking about when I say the real cancel culture. When you just become like a blur in the world and no one can really interact with you. That epic episode called I think it was White Christmas, which is one of the creepiest episodes they ever had on there with John Hamm. And yeah, this is the real cancel culture coming. And it says major credit card companies ultimately followed suit. Last week, Discover announced that it would cut ties with the service following similar moves by MasterCard and Visa. That added incentive, no doubt, further pressured. That added incentive, no doubt, further pressured Pornhub to take even more aggressive action than already announced. And then it goes on to say some of the complaints that they have, and you know, there's another article here. That obviously, this is from the New York Times, if I recall. Oh no, from The Verge, and it's talking about they're removing all of its videos and users and all this stuff. The model program, the review, but it covers a lot of the same stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you guys to understand something, man. There's a darker chess move at play right here. The reason why Pornhub is the one right now that's being attacked, first and foremost, is because of the collapsed marriage and birth rate. And the reason why I say this is because of this. Guys are retreating, especially during this pandemic. They're retreating to porn and video games and just, indoor stuff that they can just do alone more than ever, right? And so things were bad before, but now people are really starting to realize, oh shit, these guys aren't coming back. We have to limit and control the access to which they have of porn. Back in the day, for those of you guys who are a little younger, to get any kind of access to porn was a Herculean task. Even to get a nudie magazine, a Playboy, a Penthouse, something like that, just to get one of those took a lot of effort back in the day if you were underage, right?
Basically, it's that same cancel culture coming back, right?
Yeah.
Like here's the parallel between Maddox and what MasterCard does. MasterCard is executing the will of people like Maddox.
Hmm. But do you notice it's only one-sided, right?
MasterCard is this faceless corporation, right? It's also
Yep.
become so big that it can literally walk up to, I think, the sixth largest website in terms of internet consumption and with the flick of a finger, boot it right off the internet.
Pretty much. Effectively. Yeah, effectively, like, do this or else, right? It's
Yeah.
pure extortion.
America sold its soul to MasterCard.
Pretty much. Because now they have become the new cancel culture, right? Like shout out to my man Dick Masterson, who I got to meet in person this past weekend in Tampa. But when he was on Nick's show, he was expressing his frustration, trying to do his own payment processor, right? At the time, I didn't fully understand because I was kind of like, in my mind, I was like, well, dude, I don't understand if you you got the payment processor, you have people who are giving money, whether it be through crypto, whatever, however they want to process that payment, then you can. Now, like I said, it was maybe a few weeks later, I fully understood what he was talking about, where I was like, oh, and now I see. And Nick was the one that told me just how big MasterCard is, right? And if I recall, they process an insane amount of transactions, like in terms of total transactions, right?
MasterCard could
And
deplatform an entire country, and not a small country like Lithuania or something.
yeah, Nick, if I recall, I want to say that number was like 80%. That somehow goes through one of their processors. Like, so when because remember they have shell companies XYZ, right? So if they tell you you're going to deplatform this person, and you say, "Hey, man, we're a free speech platform." Okay, how about this? If you don't get rid of this person, Alex Jones, we're just going to go ahead and make sure that you're not even allowed to make process. We're not going to process your payments, right? You're done, right? Because
Mhm.
they have to sacrifice you now, right? And if you're Alex Jones, you understand, right? Like you wouldn't get mad at whoever the platform owner is, right? You'd be like, I get it. Because if you stick up for me and you lose the ability to process payments, everyone's gonna lose, right?
Mhm.
Everyone who uses this platform. So they'll just go to so you have to sacrifice me. Once you understand why that's a big deal, man, that is some scary shit. That a company can MasterCard can just tell you, we're the new cancel culture, right?
Yep.
Now, and this goes back to what I said. It only works one way. There's only a certain because they're determining who's allowed to say what and who's not allowed to say what, right? So I think that was Mr. Yiannopoulos got canceled, and so he started doing crypto, right? It was like Milo Bucks or something. Someone said he literally like created his own crypto, and so I get it now. Yeah, these people are just they're gonna start canceling any this. You people talk about fascism. This is real fascism. They don't have to kill you the way ancient armies did. No, no, no. They'll just kill you financially and cut off access to any resources that you can have. There you go. The new cancel culture. And and so when I look at who is pushing this, right? Because they always use the same groups of people. Women and children, women and children, women and children. Really? How many children's sexual assault videos were on Pornhub? I never heard of any. Could they be
And,
out there? I'm sure they are.
and if you do know of one, go straight to jail,
Yeah, you're done. Like
right? Like
if you
if you know that there is a video of a child on Pornhub, that means you watched it. So
yep.
you, the viewer, go straight to jail.
Well, not only that, look, let's face it. When you watch content on any of these platforms, YouTube, Pornhub, whatever, right? Usually they're giving you a suggestion tab, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, would you like to check out this? I have never in my life seen it say, hey, you might want to watch some kiddie stuff. Never. Not once. Not once.
I always go there in incognito mode on my browser. So it always what is Drex, what is this emergence of the stepsister, stepfather thing?
Yeah,
Why
yeah, yeah. The
why is
incestual kind of thing.
half of all porn videos on Pornhub like your family? What is
Well,
that
I mean,
fantasy?
these people are role playing, and do you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I've talked to Nick about this, about the amount of chicks who are damaged and have daddy issues. It's very real, I promise you. The daddy issues, you can ask anybody who goes on these college campuses, especially these liberal college campuses. The daddy issues in the modern female is very real. Very
And
real.
weirdly enough, how many of these women want to fuck their dads? And tell me why it's 100%.
Yeah, it's gotten out of control, man. The whole like sexual attraction to because all it boils down to is like whether it be the taboo. I don't know why my arm fell asleep just now. I don't know if it's just the taboo of it or the fact that he's the most dominant man in her life, whatever it may be with these daddy issues. It has gotten to a very disturbing level because I have said that for years. I'm kind of like, look, man, how could and you're right, it's literally every other video. Everyone who's watching this, who's listening to this, they know it's true. You can click anything, right? You doesn't matter what you're watching. Like, oh yeah, I want to see I don't know, a young chick with a cougar or something or whatever. You want to just see, like, let's say you want to see something professional, right? An older porn star with a younger porn. Let's say, how about a Lisa Ann with Riley Reid? Rather than it being a basic role play, it's always going to lead to some incestual stuff like mother, daughter, or stepmother. And then all of a sudden, the suggestion becomes, like you said, it's always daddy, daughter, or daddy, stepdaddy, stepdaughter kind of stuff. It's like, really? Like, look, man, that doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me. Or they always try to push some gay shit. It's one or the other.
Well, of course. I'm glad that they actually have a separate website for the for gay stuff.
Honestly, though, they really don't, because you can be watching something and it can always hit you with some bullshit suggestion. You're like, dude, what is this? Like prime example. Let's say you're going to watch a threesome video, right? Okay, fair enough. Two dudes, straight dudes, plowing a chick. How did we get from this to bi-oral cuck or something? Like, what is this shit? Like, why is this in a suggestion? It happens. It'll, like you said, just about the incest stuff, right? You're not looking for that, and yet it always tries to suggest it, right? It's the algorithm.
Sometimes I wonder if these algorithms are actually just a bunch of monkeys typing on a computer, like literal monkeys. Not that's not a euphemism of any kind. Just
right?
Literal primates pounding away on a keyboard, and that's what determines the algorithm. Because I always the algorithm is a great way to hide behind actually rationally explaining something. Well, why does YouTube recommend that video? Well, it's the algorithm, obviously.
It's the algorithm.
Or why does Facebook show me all the Daily Beast articles and nothing from Breitbart? Well, it's the algorithm. No, I want the rational explanation, because an algorithm is nothing but a fancy stepladder of if-else statements.
Correct.
Nothing more. None of this self-learning neural AI. None of those things exist. I know you're talking bullshit when you say that the algorithm that controls what news gets shown to you on Facebook is controlled by a self-learning neural AI.
True. And they will tell you anything if they think you'll believe it, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically what it boils down to. Like, listen, man, when it comes to this bullshit, I tell people, dude, these people are lying.
So before we move into the advice questions, I just want to do a couple of quick plugs. So you're listening to episode 3, probably on Friday. If you listen to it Thursday, I will find you and I will hunt you down, because how dare you get a hold of something before I release it. We are also releasing the 12 Days of THOTMAS. They're going up on YouTube. They're free for everyone. They're just great Christmas stories. Never been told before on any other show. I can't think of anyone else's show that you've ever been on before. I don't know. There's maybe some lawyer that you hang out with every now and then. I don't think he's that important.
That guy.
Yeah.
But you know, we'll have to like splice them all into like one, like after the Thad story, like splice them all into like one big thing, like one big just show, right? Like here you go. Here's the release as all 12 of them at once. 12 Days of THOTMAS.
Maybe I could make it into like a CD track.
It just becomes a track of here it is. When you guys are driving on the road, you guys can listen to 12 Days of THOTMAS, and just boom, there it is. All 12 stories just lined up back to back to back to back, man.
Huh. Yeah, I definitely will do that. Probably after the new year, because December 25th is a pretty special day. Now, for most people, it's Christmas. But for me, the producer, I have to push out 3 things on Christmas Day. Bonus episode 1 drops December 25th, and the 25th of every month thereafter. But the 25th is also a Friday, which means episode 4 of Migtown Podcast drops on the same day. And then, of course, the one story that everyone has been waiting for, the Thad story. So I have to edit and drop all of those on December 25th. You guys are so lucky. You have no idea how lucky you are. So yes, I will cut the 12 Days of THOTMAS together into a single long track, but you might have to wait till after New Year for it, because I'm going to be exhausted.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, but it'll be well worth it, ladies and gentlemen. Well worth it.
It'll be well worth it. And it will be free. No worries to everyone who's listening on YouTube right now. Yes, the 12 Days of THOTMAS will be free. I'll put it out. I'll put it up on YouTube. I'll find a way to get it to you. You know what? Send me a smoke signal. I understand, no. Send me a smoke signal. I'll hook you up. But yes, just a quick plug for our stuff because, we've seen the numbers come in. It's been a great experience all around. I wasn't sure what to think when we launched episode 1 on the potato mic, the legendary potato mic.
Of course, which has now become its own meme.
Yeah, we go into episode 2, and the audio got a little better. It wasn't perfect, but it got better. And then we do the 12 Days of THOTMAS, and I had your mic set too high, so it kept blowing out.
Of course. Yeah, technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. They get cleaned up as we move along.
Oh yeah, I think I've got the audio right where I want it. We'll see when I cut it together how it turns out, but let's you know what? I've teased everyone long enough. You want the advice questions? Let's get into the advice questions.
Here it is.
The very first one is very simple. It actually came on the day that the day after we recorded episode 1. Or sorry, no, the day after we recorded episode 2. So it's been sitting in the inbox for a while. But this person wants to know, also, what is the hat that you wear called? Is that a Kangol? Is that how you say that?
Yeah. So just so you guys know, Kangols come in like multiple types. Like it'd be like going to a shoe store and saying, I want the new Michael Jordan shoes, right? The Air Jordans. And they would go, well, which model, right? The 11, the 13? You're like, oh shit, there's more than one. So Kangols have lots of different types, right? So I will so if you go on there's one called like the tropical player hat. Like they have all these different names to the Kangols. So I'm going to, as we're sitting here, I'm going to literally go on Amazon and look up the exact Kangol that I wear. So if I click in Kangol hats for men, they go, Jesus, they have a ton. Okay, I found it. The exact one that I'm wearing for you guys out there is called the Kangol Tropic 504. And it says, 504 vent air, right? So this is what you would use. And so Kangols have different purposes. The vent air is what you would use for like basically everything other than if you're going to be somewhere where it's going to be cold, because they have the enclosed Kangols that are like, they're damn near like wool. So they're much hotter on your head. I like the vent air because then, they vent. You're not just sitting there with a hot hat on your head. So for those of you guys who want to know, they come in like a million colors. LL Cool J made these famous way back in the 80s. So if you're ever curious of what hat I'm wearing, it's a Kangol, Kangol, Kangol hats, and you just type in Kangol Tropic 504, and it'll pop up on Amazon. You can just buy them there. So I'm shilling for Kangol for no reason. No.
Yeah, Kangol, hit us up. We will sponsor you, or sponsor us. I mean,
yeah, going it offer. You'll see the kangaroo, and that's how you know it's a Kangol.
Okay. I mean, I just wear my MAGA hat. I don't know what the big deal is.
You're right. So, especially when you go to California or Portland.
Oh, right? College. I go onto a college campus wearing my MAGA hat.
Oh, that's great. That's beautiful.
All right, the next advice question. Also, very quick, although this one's a little more depressing. A 26-year-old white blind man with no job and is overweight. How screwed is he?
Pretty screwed if you allow it to be. You're basically if you start off with any kind of a disadvantage, it is what it is, right? But at the same time, they're Stevie Wonder's blind, Ray Charles was blind. Like, your body you can work on, right? Anyone can exercise whether you have sight or not, and you just got to do the best you can. Because remember, there are people with sight and who aren't overweight who still don't do shit, right? So you just got to go figure out what it is that you like to do. I mean, hell, you can even start a YouTube channel. Obviously, you need some help, just like I need help, and I have all my senses and can see. So, yeah, I mean, tell people your story, and you'd be amazed how many people are interested in hearing another person's perspective, right? To see the world through someone else's eyes and their experiences.
Well, that's a bad metaphor for
it's seen through someone's eyes.
That's a horrible metaphor.
Yeah, being in someone else's shoes would be a more appropriate metaphor.
Yeah. I get from the tone of the email that you think these are all detriments. The only thing that's really a detriment is being overweight, and you can fix that. You can change that. Don't give up on your dreams or your goals because you have put this artificial barrier in front of yourself. All right? Even someone like Ethan Ralph with his gunt, if he really wanted to, he could lose it. Even he could.
Absolutely.
Are you worse than Ethan Ralph? Then what's your excuse? That's a great way to motivate someone, right? Is just compare them to someone even worse.
Right? You can't be this bad, can you? You know, if you are, it's time to get better. So, yeah, you never give up.
You could speak to this too. If you are someone who has one of those, being blind, do the women not pay immediate attention to you? Is it not like the getting past the hardest part of meeting women?
Yeah. Yeah, because you're now you're a commodity, right? You're different.
Yeah, you're another notch in their belt.
Absolutely. Look, do you know what? For those of you who don't know, the Daredevil series on Netflix, which I believe is the best series that they have. And I'm a huge Daredevil fan, so obviously, I'm a bit biased, but it's kind of like a running gag, right? That Matt Murdock, who's Daredevil, has it easy because, of course, when women see the blind man, they naturally are like, "Oh, I just want to take care of you in any way possible."
Man, how's that a bad thing? If you're the one getting the action, how's that a bad thing?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he used it to his advantage.
Like I said, you can turn most of your disadvantages into an advantage. All right, let's pull in this next. Let's pull in this next advice question. Okay, so the person starts off by mentioning some other guy. I think he's a lawyer. I don't know who he is, but he's looking for some advice. He's a 19-year-old black male and plans on entering trade school sometime soon. Recently put my plans on hold because my mother has a cancerous brain tumor.
Oh, shit.
And had to go into surgery twice. Now he's taking care of her. But she's changed. She's changed and she's become quite, I guess the word is abusive to him. Irrational, unreasonable, making bad decisions and then blaming him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. You kind of got to take it the same way that you would take a child, right? That's why there's always that saying, once a man, twice a child. Because when people get older and, Alzheimer's, all that, or in this case, brain tumor, you don't know what effect that could be having on her brain. And it's causing her to, she's causing her to act and react in ways that she wouldn't normally if she were fully, cognizant and was in full control of her faculties. So just view it as the equivalent of when she took care of you as a baby, you didn't know any better, and it was tough. And you're basically kind of, trading off now that she's in her old age and, physically and mentally may not be there, but that's what babies are. They're not physically and mentally there. So kind of view it as that.
Does he wash his hands of this and move on? Apparently it's possible to dump her off onto other family, but he's not confident they're going to take good care of her. And I've got a bit of a harsh reality.
Well, if her health keeps deteriorating the way it is, or if you don't see it really getting better, it won't matter if you are taking care of her or someone else. And if she's not really understanding if her brain doesn't understand the care that she is receiving, then yeah, you kind of have to, just because, I mean, you still have a future at, 18, 19 years old. You want to get out there and do your own thing. So, don't allow, certain, like don't be so loyal that you basically sacrifice yourself. You know what I mean? And I've seen that happen before, where people
now
are
this
like,
looks to
"Well, I
be
have
more
to."
of a significant personality change as opposed to a physical impairment, but that's
Mhm.
going to come soon after, right?
Correct. Yep.
And look, there's a very, very harsh truth that I want you to be aware of, and I don't mean this in any mean way, but she already died a little bit. And the moment you have now is an extended saying goodbye period of time.
I'd agree with that.
I know it's tough to hear because no one ever wants to say goodbye to their mother, especially if you actually like your mother.
Right.
If this person has changed as drastically as you claimed she has, the person you knew and loved already died. And it is incumbent on you to enjoy the time you have left. But there comes a limit. Like Drex said, there's a limit to where you are sacrificing your future for her present.
Yep.
And you need to be honest with yourself. Is that the sacrifice you're willing to make? Will you come to regret that decision in 10 years?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it can happen that way too, where, you end up sacrificing things and so you got to kind of watch that.
And some people just have, some people do have a very powerful bond with their mother, such that that is an acceptable sacrifice for them.
Correct.
But be honest with yourself. Make sure you're ready to make that sacrifice. If you're writing this email, it really sounds like you're not ready to make that sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. I believe so. I believe that's true. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, only if you've reached your threshold, right? Your tolerance threshold. So you kind of got to make that decision. But it is a decision for you to make, and like I said, just don't sacrifice what you want out of life just because your mom is going through this rough patch, especially if she's getting like abusive. If it's really taxing you and not allowing you to really move forward and do what you want to do, then you kind of got to have to. Kind of got to have to let go, but only you can really determine that. So, because I don't know this guy's relationship with his mom, so I wouldn't want to make the call on that.
All right, and we've got one more email to go through before we end the recording today.
All right.
A 34-year-old local truck driver making $70,000 a year. I sure hope that's American money, because $70,000 Canadian is not a lot of money. He's currently dating a solid 7, I'm assuming 7 out of 10.
Yep.
Yeah, 7 out of 10, 25-year-old, no kids, very submissive, respectful woman. Met her when she was 23. But he sees that he's got a little bit of a blind spot going. The young men asking how they find a quality woman and start a family need to refocus their energy. They need to realize that the market has changed and have a go at it with a different game plan. So this guy wants to give some of his life advice to everyone else. I'm just realizing that now as I read through it.
Yeah, I'm in full alignment with this guy.
Young men, get your life in order first. And you've said this before. Get your shit sorted first.
Mm-hmm.
Get done with school. Get a job. Probably through trade school. Look, The world needs trade workers, and all these simps are going to college for gender studies, art history, lesbian dance theory. Or they're going into IT, and they want to work at Google where they're happy to censor people who disagree with them.
Correct.
Women need to see that you don't need them, and that you can choose to have them around.
I've always said that. Yeah, this guy's figured out the game early.
Yeah, it seems like he's got it figured out, and I think his advice is right on the money. Literally.
Yeah.
Get the money first.
Listen to this guy, gentlemen, out there. So I know some of you guys are still, for inexplicable reasons, still wanting to date. And even this guy, if you want to date, I'm not going to knock a guy for dating. I would just say never get married. I don't believe in the current system that it is wise, especially if this guy's in Canada. Your laws are even worse than ours.
Oh, give me a break. No, I'm pretty sure he's in the U.S.
Oh, okay. Even still,
normally people say that they live in Canada because we're everyone forgets that our country even exists. So whenever we write into an American show, we have to mention that we're from Canada.
Well, but I mean, the laws are so bad. You just can't, man. You really can't. You just can't get married.
And for this guy, for this, 34 is a very fun age because you're not college broke, but you still have some of your liver left intact.
One would hope.
One would hope. So your mid-30s is a great time to be alive.
Absolutely.
Because 30 hits a lot of people pretty hard. It hits women especially hard, but it does hit men hard too.
I don't think it hits dudes hard at all, to be honest with you.
It hit me pretty hard.
Really?
Yeah, I just thought I'd have more accomplished. I think especially the millennial men, right? The younger men who owning a house has become a complete pipe dream for them.
For the most part, yeah, man. It's
They get to 30, they don't own a house yet because their dad owned a house at 25, their grandpa owned a house at 18.
right. But they need to understand that the world, that the economy has changed, right? Like just the society has changed. So it's like you can't if you beat yourself up because you go, I don't own a home, I don't own a home. Well, why don't you go look at you know what these guys should start doing? Go start talking to the people who do own a home because they don't own shit. Most everybody is paying. If you pay a mortgage, that means the bank owns that shit. Get
Yeah,
behind on
they
your
own
mortgage
you
payment.
and the house.
They own you and the house. So lose your job during the pandemic or whenever, and get behind on your mortgage payment and see. We'll see who really own you. And that's why I laugh when people say, "I own my own home." Do you though? Because if you're making mortgage payments, you don't own a goddamn thing. So don't beat yourself up because you don't own your home. I thought I'd be further. Just keep fighting. Just go ahead, keep grinding, keep chugging along.
And for God's sakes, to this young man who wrote in, do not get married. Don't
Do
even
it.
make her sign a prenup because the
Nope.
prenup is useless if she pulls
Useless.
the right card.
Yep. All she has to say is, I signed under duress. Yep. And I would say don't have kids, but most of these guys don't listen. But I mean, here's the thing: if you have a kid, that's not the end of the world. It's the marriage part that really gets you.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
And you're talking about the power dynamic in a relationship that you have on her right now. Guess what you lose when she gets knocked up? The power. You lose
Yep.
all the power.
Yep.
Because
remember what he said. She's 25 and submissive. That's going to end.
all the money in the world, all the possessions, all the things that you own are powerless against your own child when she starts using it against you.
Yep. Yeah, the kid will just be a pawn.
But again,
go talk to any guy out there. They know.
go back to the person who wrote in before. If that's what you want, then be honest with yourself. Say, I'm willing to give up the power so that I can have a kid.
You're gonna be miserable. Look at Prince Harry. You're gonna be miserable. I mean, listen to the guys, man. Yeah, listen to the guys.
I still
would
drink
just
the
say just
Kool-Aid
don't do
that
it.
fatherhood is a rewarding experience. I don't know. That's just my flaw.
It's not. It does it have its perks? Does it have its days? Absolutely. But if you were to look at the overall, come on, man. But like I said, I will say this though: it depends on what you value most. I value my freedom more than anything. You see what I'm saying?
And you lost a lot of that.
So I sacrificed a lot of that and lost a chunk of that. Now, did I learn and grow and all these other great things? And, having a kid and it changes your life. Yeah, sure. But at the end of the day, it doesn't override what I lost. So it's like, yeah, you love your daughter, of course, I love more than anything. But that does not, it will never override the fact that, like, if my life is based on my freedom, and you got to remember, freedom and money kind of go hand in hand, right? The amount it costs for a kid, I mean, do the math, right?
Yep.
Okay, do the math. $1,000 per month, that's 12 months times 18 years. That's money that you could have saved, invested, done other things with. You didn't have to worry about taking off time for work because the kid is sick. You didn't have to spend money on, carrying an insurance policy for family instead of single. There's so much, but that's a matter of do you value the whole family thing or just having kids in general, or do you value freedom? Freedom is my ultimate goal, right? That's why
Yeah.
when I reach a certain age and my daughter ages out, nothing is more important to me than freedom. Nothing.
All right. Well, that's it for the advice questions.
There it is. I mean, I'm sure that lawyer guy is probably just about to start because them damn kids.
Well, yeah, and
So
he's, you know what, he's probably late anyways, so we're
of
not
course.
cutting into any of his time. So let me hit the intro or the outro really quick, and I'll get you on your way.
Oh, someone said he's already done with the intro, you nerds.
No, I disavow that comment. That comment doesn't exist.
But yeah, for everybody watching, have a good night, and go over and always check out my man Nick Rekieta's show. That's my brother from another mother.
Yeah. While you were dunking hoops, he was on the sideline cheering.
Oh no, I actually cheered with him.
And okay, but who held the snack tray?
Oh yeah, You never want to be the guy holding the snack tray. Never
want to be the guy. Never want to be the guy holding the snack tray. All right, everyone. If you like the show and want to support us, hit up our Patreon or Subscribestar, or both. I won't stop you. Catch us on Parler. Catch us on YouTube, or our very own website, migtown.show. Till next week, stay frosty, everyone.
See you next time, guys.